Hello! Today, you are going to expand your understanding about linear relationships by now looking at some that have negative values. You know how to find M, you know how to find K, you know how to find B in tables and equations and situations. Today, we're just going to look at what do those tables, equations, and situations look like if M or K or B are negative. So, we'll take it one piece at a time. Make sure you understand everything. This is really very easy, but if you are going to get something wrong, it is because you're putting negative signs where they don't belong. So just be careful, watch what I do, try to understand when you need to put a negative sign and when you don't. How do you recognize when something's going to be negative and things like that. Okay, let's begin. All right. Why would B, the start amount, remember B is the start amount, why would you ever have a negative start amount? Well, you might be starting below the water level or below ground, such as 5 meters below water. You might be swimming down below the water level, 10 feet down a well, and you have to climb your way out, or perhaps dig the well deeper. 8,000 feet below sea level, like you're in a submarine, or you're diving in a scuba suit, although I don't think a scuba diver has ever gotten 8,000 feet below sea level. That's more than a mile deep. I think that you pretty much have to be in a submarine at that point. You could also be in the bottom of Death Valley. Death Valley is below sea level, and then you don't even need a diving suit. You could be just at the bottom of Death Valley. It could be that you're digging a mine. Mines are down below ground. Or you might be starting in debt, like you owe money. If you owed $4,000, that's essentially that you're starting out at negative $4,000 because before you do anything else, you have to pay off your debt. Or you might have really cold temperatures, temperatures below freezing, like 8 degrees below zero. That would certainly be a negative amount. And if you started at those amounts, that would be a negative B, a negative start amount. So why would M or K? Remember, M and K are rates of change. It's the amount. It's like 4 feet per second, 8 students per classroom, things like that. So the amount, what if the amount gets lower and lower? Lower. You spend $10 an hour, so you're getting less and less money in your pocket if you're spending money over time. You might be traveling downwards. You might be diving down deeper into the water, 2 meters per second, for example. You might be climbing down a mountain at 10 feet per minute. That would be -2 or -10. Or the temperature might be dropping. It drops 3 degrees every minute. It's getting colder and colder. That would be -3. Or you might be losing weight. You start out at a certain weight. Maybe you feel like you're a little too heavy. You go on a diet. You start to lose 5 pounds per month. 5 pounds per month is a perfectly reasonable thing. None of you should be losing weight because you're children, and children should just be natural. Shouldn't push themselves. Okay. So here is an example of a negative proportional relationship. So this is negative proportional, so it doesn't have a start amount or the start amount is 0. The anchor is sinking 2 feet lower every second. So K is -2. And the equation would be y equals -2x. So now we'll complete the table. 0 starts at 0 because this is proportional. So it doesn't say it starts anywhere. It must start at sea level, at the water level. But then it's going down. So it goes to -2, and then it goes to -4, and then it goes to -6. Notice the way these amounts are going down by 2 every second. So that's why K is -2. Notice there is no negative sign up here. It doesn't say it sinks -2 feet lower. The negativity is taken up by the word sinks. It says sinks, so therefore it's going down. We don't need to put a negative sign. It's taken care of with that. In fact, if you put a negative sign, that would be a double negative, and that would mean it's rising, but no one ever does that. All right. Here's an example of a negative M with a positive B. So this is a non-proportional. So we're going to have to add something, but we're adding in. All right, so we're starting with 100 hot dogs. Now, if we have 100 hot dogs, does that mean it's positive 100 or negative 100? That means it's positive 100. But Joey Chestnut, the world champion hot dog eater, eats 70 hot dogs in 10 minutes. If he is eating the hot dogs, do we have more hot dogs or fewer hot dogs? We have fewer hot dogs. So, how fast are the hot dogs disappearing? Well, it's 70 divided by 10 is 7. So they are disappearing at a rate of 7 hot dogs per minute. Now notice, I did not say they are disappearing at a rate of negative 7 hot dogs per minute. They are disappearing at 7 hot dogs per minute. The word disappearing takes care of the negativity. Also notice I didn't just say 7. I said 7 hot dogs per minute. You must include the units. And it should be a compound unit when it's something like how fast, because it's looking for a unit rate. How many hot dogs were there at the beginning? Well, we know that. It tells us there are 100 hot dogs at the beginning. And you should write the word hot dogs, because it wasn't 100 miles, it wasn't 100 hamburgers, it was 100 hot dogs. So what is M? Well, it's 7, but it's not 7, it's negative 7, because it is disappearing, it is going down. So negative 7. Notice, there is a negative sign here, but there's no negative sign here. That's the difference. Up here, the word disappearing takes care of the negativity. Here, there is no word for it, so M has to be a negative number. What is B? Well, what's the start amount? It's 100. Is it positive 100 or negative 100? Do we owe 100 hot dogs to someone? No, we are given a big giant platter with 100 hot dogs on it. So B is positive 100. So the equation is y equals negative 7x plus 100. Plus 100 because it's positive 100. Negative 7x because it goes down by 7. All right, so let's fill in the table. 0 is 100, because that's where we start. Eat 7 hot dogs. That would be 93. 100 minus 7. Then 86. 93 minus 7. And then 79. Going down by 7 each time. Or another way. Negative 7 times 3 is negative 21. Negative 21 plus 100 is 79. Negative 7 times 2 is negative 14. 100 plus negative 14 is 86. 1 times negative 7 is negative 7. 100 take away 7 is 93. Negative 7 times 0 is 0. 0 plus 100 is 100. 2 ways to find the answers. Both are correct. Okay, so what if we have an example with a positive M and a negative B? So here's the example. The club started by borrowing $200. Borrowing is negative. It gets you into debt. You have to pay off the debt to reach the point where you don't owe any more money. When you don't owe any money, you're at $0. If you borrow money, you are now at negative 200. So this is a negative B. And it earned is positive, $1,500 at the 5 hours of car wash. So how fast is the club earning money? Well, we know it earned money, so we'll do 1,500 divided by 5 equals 300. So it is earning money at a rate of $300 per hour. Remember to use the compound unit. $300 per hour. All right. How much money did the club owe at the beginning? They owed $200. Notice, no negative sign. The word owe takes care of it for us. You don't have to put a negative sign in front of the 200. What is M? Well, now, we don't have any words around it, so we have to use positive and negative. M is the unit rate. It's 300. Is that a positive 300 or a negative 300? Well, they earned money, so it is a positive 300. What is B? Well, it's 200. But is it 200 or negative 200? Well, if they owe money, then it's negative 200. So now we write the equation. Y equals 300x, because that's what M is. Now we want to do negative 200. I could put plus negative 200. Here, I'll do that, plus negative 200. But that's an awful lot of writing when I could just as easily put minus 200, and it means exactly the same thing. So I'm going to put minus 200 because simpler is better. It means the exact same thing as plus negative 200. So we'll leave it at that. All right, hours. Let's fill in the table. 0 at the beginning. O 200, so negative 200. That's what B is. We're gaining $300 an hour. Negative 200 plus 300 is 100. 100 plus 300 is 400. 400 plus 300 is 700. That fills in the table. Here's another way to do it. 300 times 3 is 900. 900 minus 200 is 700. 300 times 2 is 600. 600 minus 200 is 400. 300 times 1 is 300. 300 minus 200 is 100. 300 times 0 is 0. 0 minus 200 is negative 200. Two different ways to get the answer. Okay. Here's an example with a negative rate of change, a negative M and a negative B. Negative unit rate and negative B. The diver started out 8 meters below the water. 8 meters below the water sounds negative to me. And swam down 30 meters in 3 minutes. So that would be going down. So let's figure this out. How fast was the diver swimming? Well, 30 divided by 3 equals 10. So 10 meters per minute. Notice I didn't say negative 10 because it swims down. So I don't need to put the negative sign. Where was the diver at the beginning? 8 meters below, the water. 8 meters below the water. What is M? Now we have to say that it's negative 10. And what is B? We have to say it is negative 8. So the equation would be Y equals negative 10x minus 8. Negative M, negative B. Okay, let's fill in the table. Minutes, 0, starts out at negative 8. So, negative 8. Swims down 10 minutes, negative 10 meters. Swims down another one, negative 28. Swims down another one, negative 38. Or we could do it with multiplying. Negative 10 times 3 is negative 30. Negative 30 minus 8 is negative 38. Negative 10 times 2 is negative 20. Minus 8 is negative 28. Negative 10 times 1 is negative 10. Minus 8 is negative 8. Negative 10 times 0 is 0. 0 minus 8, negative 8. Easy enough. So, starting with the situation. Planted, the seed is planted 10 centimeters below ground. So if it's planted 10 centimeters below ground, is that positive 10 or negative 10? Below ground would make it negative. After 20 days, it has grown a total of 10 centimeters. If it's growing, is it growing up or down? It's going up. Therefore, it is positive. So it will have a positive M and a negative B. How fast is it growing? Show how you get your answer. So it's growing. 10 divided by 20 equals 1/2. So 1/2 centimeters per day. Where was the seed at the beginning? 10 centimeters below ground. What is M? M is negative 1/2. There's M. What is B? Well, Oh, it's not negative 1/2, it's growing, so let me fix that. M is positive 1/2 because it's growing, it's not negative. What is B? Well, B is negative 10 because it's 10 centimeters below ground. So the equation would be y equals 1/2 x plus 10. Let's fill in the table. Where does it start? Oh, not plus 10. I'm messing up all over. It's probably because the phone rang. All right, 1/2 x minus 10 because it's below ground. Right, height. At 0, it's negative 10. It's growing 1/2 centimeter every day, so negative 9.5. Negative 9. Negative 8.5. See, it's going up, less negative. It's still below ground after 3 days, but it's only 8.5 centimeters below the ground instead of 10 below. All right. Or 3 times 1/2 is negative 1.5. 10 take away 1.5 is 8.5, etc., etc. All right. Start with an equation. So you're starting off with some money in your account. Over time, you make regular withdrawals. Withdrawals is taking money out of the bank. The relationship between the number of weeks that have gone by and the total balance in your account is given by this equation, negative 15x plus 4,500. What is M? Well, it's written right there next to x, negative 15. What is B? It's written right there after the plus sign, 4,500. And it's positive because it's plus. If it was net minus, it would be negative. How much did you have at the beginning? Well, is that plus 4,500 or minus 4,500? Since it's plus, you had $4,500 at the beginning. How much did you withdraw each week? You withdrew $15 per week. Notice, have to put the units. Let's start it out. How much did you start with? 4,500. You took out $15, $4,485. Just to subtract 15. Subtract another 15, $4,470. Subtract another 15, $4,455. And that's how much you have after 3 weeks. 3 times 15 is 45, 4,400. Minus 45 is 4,455. Another way of finding it. Start with the table. Okay, well, here we go. So at 0, we're at negative 8. So did we start above or below 0? We started below 0. So B is negative in this case. B, in fact, is negative 8. Then let's look at these temperatures. It goes negative 8, negative 11, negative 14, negative 17. Is it getting warmer or colder? Temperature's going down. M is negative. How much to go from 8 to 11 to 14 to 17? It's negative 3. So the temperature at the beginning was negative 8 degrees Celsius. I know that because it says it right over here that it's going to be degrees Celsius. What was the temperature rising or falling? It was falling. We know that because it's becoming more and more negative. How fast was it changing? It was changing at 3 degrees Celsius per hour. And notice I don't say it's changing by negative 3 degrees Celsius per hour because I already said it was falling, and that takes care of the negative sign. But we do need it for M and B because they're just values. They don't have words to help them. So the equation, y equals negative 3x minus 8. Because it's negative 3 for M and minus 8 for B. Okay, that's the idea. It's very simple. Be careful. If things go up, they're positive. If they go down, they're negative. If they start up below, they're negative. If they start above, they're positive. Watch when you put the negative signs and when you don't. Try it out.